Hi guys, welcome to the Honest Perfume Reviewer. My name is Kiki. I'm filming from Sweden. Honest is supposed to be like to signal to you that I don't accept free bottles. I am not in this for business. It's just my hobby, just wanting to share. It's kind of like my I have a need to discuss with other people that are passionate about perfume and to share my opinions. And kind of the information that I've collected about a certain note, a certain perfume, or a certain house. And today I have this little sample set from the South Korean brand Borntostandout. It comes with 8 samples. They have this one's called the Dirty and Sticky Discovery, and the other one is called Dark and Drunk. And those are called like Sex and Cognac, Drunk Lovers. There were a whole bunch of different ones. These were the ones that I was most interested in. And they were kind of talking about this in the store, that these were supposed to be special, like there was some special kind of Asian perfumery style here that was different from other things that, on the market. And I'll have to say, I don't agree at all. I mean, okay, what they told me, and I actually said to you guys that I was going to find out about like statistics about, cultural differences regarding perfumery, because I know that Asians, I'm talking about the Far East, like China, Japan, Korea, those countries, not the Middle East, because they actually are quite heavily perfumed, but they don't use much perfume. And I think that it would be really a good topic for another video, because I want to find out more about this. I couldn't find like a real, like a source that felt valid. I need to kind of like go, because I looked in several different places and I got completely different figures. But I think it's pretty safe to say that Scandinavians in general, we don't wear too much perfume, and if we wear perfume, it's quite light. And when you compared to like in Southern Europe, and that probably culturally has to do with our climate, like when we couldn't wash every day, and we had to maybe use perfumes to cover up our body odor. I guess in Sweden we didn't smell quite as bad as they did in Italy, maybe. Just a guess. I'm not sure about the climate China's a huge country. Japan, I think it has all these different zones. I'm not even sure. I've got to look into this more. And I think that would be really interesting. I really want to find out about this. But I think I read like 12% of the Koreans or the Asians in that part of Asia wear perfume. And it's considered rude to get on a bus or something, where other people can smell you. So that's something to kind of keep in the back of your head. And maybe it's not strange that many of these are really easy to wear, easy to like. They're not loud. There is an exception in here of one that I think is actually quite loud, like really loud, like not good loud. But why don't I just take them one by one? Let's see. I have Dirty Rice was the first one that I tried. I kind of like the idea of rice and fragrance. I find that it's a little bit trendy right now because I have another fragrance in my collection with rice. It's True Lust from Etat Libre d'Orange, where the rice is noticeable, but it's not a main ingredient. And I don't think it is in this one either. This is more of Dirty Rice is more of like a creamy sandalwood kind of fragrance with almond. And the rice is kind of in there in the background. Do I like it? Yes. Do I love it? No. I would much rather buy, this is good. I just don't think that the price point I can't justify that price point. It's like Lucky Scent carries this house. I don't know if they have all the fragrances, but you can get the Discovery set. I think it's $60. Full bottle, 50 ml is $185. And that's for 50 ml. I think that's quite expensive. I would much rather buy Blanche Bête, which I consider a 10 out of 10. A really beautiful milky fragrance. I think there's some florals in there, maybe a hint of coconut. I'm not quite sure what's in there. But that one, I really, really love that. This reminds a little bit also of Lost Alice from Masque Milano. But the Blanche Bête fragrance is from Liquide Imaginaires is €250 for 100 milliliter. So it's actually much cheaper per like volume unit than this house. And I think that's like way, way better. That was like a wow experience. Then there was Fig Porn. Oh yeah, they do send you this little card, you know, where they kind of highlight the key ingredients and you can see the perfumer for each one, which I like. That's very cute. Fig porn, like the names are like this. Fig porn, Indecent Cherry, not vanilla. They're kind of like, yeah, you can kind of hear what they're kind of sort of referring to. Fig porn, I was positively surprised since I don't typically like fig, and this has a really fresh opening. It kind of first hits you like, ooh, something fresh, something a little bit green. It has fig, pear, and bergamot in the opening. But then when it dries down, it becomes kind of, I had some right here, it kind of dries down to a ambery vanilla. And I think so many fragrances have that standard base. It has musk, sandalwood, amber, vanilla. I mean, I'm just wondering how many fragrances on Fragrantica have that same base. I think a lot. This one was created by Florian Gallo, who's actually the perfumer behind quite a few of these fragrances. I don't know him. Sounds Italian to me, but they're all like Firmenish perfumers. The next one that I really like actually is Mud. I think that's also the one most spoken about in the community. It was created by Natalie Lorson, and it's like an almondy, milky, chocolate vanillic fragrance. And it has almost the same base. It has vanilla, elemi, sandalwood, and amber. Yeah, no musk. And it has plum. It has some Turkish rose. The rose I can't even detect. It's nice. I just put it on here not too long ago, but it disappears quite quickly. I don't think the longevity is great. It's compared to Eau Duelle from Diptyque. That fragrance I found a little more boring. This one has something that one doesn't have, as I remember. I wouldn't buy this. I think it's too low key. But I like the fact that it's not like too gourmandy. It's gourmand, but it's not like too gourmandy. It's really nice fragrance. I just would expect more, and for this price point, I wouldn't buy it. And then we have one called Not Vanilla, which is very much a vanilla fragrance. It's actually a total dupe of Gentle Fluidity Gold from Maison, what's it called? Yeah, Maison Francis Kurkdjian. MFK. That one, they have almost the same notes as well. This one has not vanilla, has praline and guaiac wood and setalox, which is like the artificial made ambergris, and moss. And I think that one has coriander, and this one doesn't have coriander. But basically, they have the nutmeg, they have the juniper, they have musk and amber. It's the same fragrance, pretty much, as I remember. I went through a 2 milliliter sample of Gentle Fluidity Gold, and before I even ran out of it, I was bored with it. I thought it was really, really boring. Not my thing, or it was just too perfect. It was one of those fragrances. It was just too perfect. There was nothing to discover. It was just there, and all of a sudden I knew it already. I didn't need it. I ended up passing the sample on before I even finished it. Naked Neroli was created by Daphne Bugi. Not sure who she is. I've seen the name before. I think she's quite well known. This smells like cleaning detergent in the beginning, but I don't like Neroli. I find this about almost all Neroli. So if you're a Neroli fan, this might be really good. The dry down is beautiful. I really, really enjoyed the dry down. Let's see what else it has. I mean, it has petitgrain. I like petitgrain. It has tuberose and orange blossom in the middle. I also like those notes. But the mint and the neroli, it makes it too much into something that you'd clean the house with. I just can't get past that first 15 minutes. So, but beautiful, beautiful dry down. It has guaiac wood, basil, and jasmine, and musk in the dry down. Very nice dry down, but I would never buy that. I'm not going to buy any of these. I'm just going to put that out there. Hinoki Shower is a nice cypress fragrance. It reminds very much of this Armani Privé fragrance, Cypress Pantelleria, except that one has a marine note, and this one has, let's see this one is creamy. That one's not creamy. That one's more watery and marine-like, and it has some kind of like water notes. This one doesn't have anything like that. This has actually tobacco and vetiver. I'm not quite sure if I get those. I get that same creaminess that the other, like the rice fragrance has, the fig fragrance has, the mud fragrance. They're all kind of creamy. I mean, I like these. I like them. I just don't love them. And I don't think that they're bringing anything like super stand out-ish to the table, to be honest. I'm not quite sure with this Asian perfumery thing. My friend who is familiar with J Scent, I think that Lucky Scent also carries that house, says that they're quite similar. They're easy reaches, but they're kind of, I think, long. She thinks they're long lasting. And I did go through a whole decant of Sumo Wrestler, which I loved. It was such an easy reach, so beautiful, kind of a heliotrope fragrance with, I don't know if there's some anise in there, or I can't remember. I just remember really loving that fragrance, but I don't think none of these feel like one of those that I would want to wear every day. Maybe the Dirty Rice. I mean, I like that one. It's just that I would rather have this Blanche Bête. And then there's one called NSFW, Not Safe for Work. It has 4 different kinds of rose in the top, and I don't know the difference between like Bulgarian rose, Turkish rose, Damask rose, rose this and rose that. I haven't learned that yet, and since I'm not even into rose, I'm not like super keen on spending a bunch of time, learning, teaching my nose how to kind of like distinguish between these rose notes. And then it has geranium, which is also a rosy note. And then it has like an oud patchouli base. I mean, I've just smelled so many of these fragrances in this category. I'm just so bored with it. I put it somewhere just to kind of refresh my memory. I think it's right here. It's not bad. It's not bad. I'm just fed up with this category. It's also Florian Gallo. Yeah, it's an overdose of rose. There just been so many radical rose and rose this, rose that. I never wear my Rosa Mundi from Perfumum Roma. That's like super much rose and patchouli, and I never wear that anymore. I loved it. I'm just bored. I'm just like, maybe it'll come back to me, but I don't know. It doesn't feel like it. I do like patchouli though. A patchouli fragrance I can wear even if it has a little bit of rose in it, or a patchouli oud, like the patchouli oud vanilla, Rosendo Mateu number 7. I really like that. It's when the rose is like amped up. That I can't do anymore. Not right now anyway. I'm just bored. And then there's one left, and it's called Indecent Cherry, and this one I really, really hate. It's terrible. I can't even put it on skin. I had to go scrub it because it was so horrible, and it wouldn't even scrub off. So I think the longevity and the sillage of this one is incredible. If you're into cherry, if you know the electric cherry from Tom Ford, that one is actually like, smells like shower gel or shampoo or something. It's just boring. Or am I mixing up electric cherry with another cherry? It's not the one that came first. It's one of those 2 new ones. This one is just so much worse. This is painful to wear. I can't even endure this. This is like, so it has cherry and almond. Maybe it's that almond note that's just too fake or something. And then strawberry, like you have to add more sweetness. It's like overly sweet. It also has sour cherry, which I can't get. I think everything is super, super sweet in this one. And then, the base is just like I said, musk, amber. It has benzoin too. Otherwise, it's the same. Vanilla, musk, amber, patchouli. Very common base. To me, it smells artificial. It's an overdose of sugar. It's an overdose of cherry. I really, really hate it. Can't wear it. So my overall opinion about this house is that I don't think I'll be spending so much more time on this. But I don't know. Maybe I will hold on to it for a while just to be able to go back, and maybe if I get a decant of Blanche Bête, I could compare it with Dirty Rice and just see. I might do a side-by-side with Masque Milano, Lost Alice. Maybe I'll do that. Did I say this is a Florian Gallo fragrance as well? The cherry one. The guy in the store said that was like his favorite. Indecent Cherry. I don't know. I don't like any. I think the only cherry fragrance that I have in my collection is a decant, and it's Rouge Smoking from BDK. And even that one's a little artificial to me. I think cherry, it's really hard to make it smell natural, and I'm not a fruity kind of girl anyway. So I guess I'm not so much into fruit, and I'm not so much into sweet. It can't be too sweet. If it's too sweet, I kind of like find myself just kind of, there needs to be something refreshing or something heavier going on, something resinous, something a little more of a base maybe, something earthy or something animalic. I can take sweetness if there's something animalic to go with it. Like Absolute Aphrodisiac, I think has a really nice combination of like gourmand notes with animalic notes that I really like. I like that combination, and I think the same with Musc Ravageur has a really nice sweetness in that. But that's not like overly sweet to me. Like these fragrances, I think they've just overdosed on the vanilla. In general, like benzoin, vanilla, it's just too much of that stuff. I mean, the Naked Neroli is not sweet. Fig porn is pretty sweet, and the dry down mud is sweet. Not vanilla is really sweet. It's gentle fluidity gold, if you're familiar with that. Yeah, and then Not Safe for Work. It's also really, it's like sweet, sweet rose. No, not impressed with the house. I don't hate it. I like it. Don't love it. And I just want to say one last thing, which I find really interesting. I kind of thought that I needed, a bunch of material to keep the channel going, but I'm not so sure anymore. I was kind of looking through my, how many views I get. God, I need a drink. I'm just like, my throat is so dry. I looked at how many views my videos get, and it seems to be like when I'm reviewing fragrances, I don't get as many views as when I'm talking about personal stuff. Like it seems like there's a bigger demand for when I talk about, the fragrance community, maybe the psychology of collecting perfumes, maybe the addiction perspective. When I talk about other reviewers, like I'm gossiping about them. I'm not really gossiping. I'm kind of mentioning them. I'm giving them. I just got a comment about, oh, it's so nice of you to, shout each other's names out, because I'm always looking for that reviewer that really has my taste and my style of reviewing fragrance. And I really haven't found her yet. I think it's a her. I mean, Ramsey is right up my alley. I like his style, but he's just a little bit too much into the masculine stuff. And there's several that I like. But when I look into like someone new and they're all about like sexy fragrances and top 10 lists, that's really not me. I don't like to listen to those at all. And if there are too many affiliate links, I don't tend to like it. And if people are trying to, talk in a sexy voice, I have a really hard time for that. I think it sounds like so unnatural. Someone who talks a little bit like this, and this is a beautiful fragrance. I just can't. I can hardly hear what they're saying if they do that. And like curly fragrance, and it's like sexy in every single video. I just learned the other day that she only really reviews masculine fragrances, so that's why I guess I'm not into her. Maybe she does know a lot about masculine fragrances, like traditional designer, some niche too. I think she does, but it's just not my style. Like this flirtatious kind of style. I'm more in it like a I don't know. I like more academic style, I guess. When people have, I like the opinions. It's all opinions. It's really not. But I like when people tie things together from, make observations, or like they do something around a certain note. They've done some kind of work. And I do understand, maybe that's why I don't get as many views when I'm like reviewing a small house, because people are not, this is so small that people are really not talking about it yet. Like the video I made the other day about these mint fragrances. It's such a small house, so people are not really, and just kind of going through a sample set. It's not like, I don't know, that's not so personal. I think it's better to, I think I'm understanding a little bit why. And I like to hear, like, if I'm listening to someone, like, who is this person? Is she married? Does she have kids, or he? What kind of work do they do? How does fragrance fit into all of that? What are their normal friends like? Are they interested in perfume? How much perfume do they wear? How do they, how do they buy their fragrance? I just found out that Ramsey like blind buys almost everything. Maybe he's in a spot in Texas where there's not that much available in store. I don't know. It's just so different. I think these things are fun to hear, like it's fun to hear how people go about this hobby, and a little bit more about the person, just a little tidbits of personal information, I think does give that little extra that might make it a little bit more interesting than just kind of like saying that you're obsessed with certain fragrances. I don't buy that anyway. Like I can't stop wearing this. I was listening to this one reviewer today. She said she'd been wearing a perfume for several months, but there was no dent in the bottle. It's like, this is not trustworthy to me. I don't quite buy that, Maybe she had a decant already and then just bought a bottle. I don't know, but there was no comment about that. And I don't know. To me, honest is really important. If I see affiliate links, I'm just like, okay, that makes me less interested. I like the pure stuff, the real nerds, the ones who can really bash a fragrance, like that really says this is not worth the money, or this is there's something off about this fragrance, or the bottle is ugly, or why did they do it this way, or I think their creative director is garbage. This kind of stuff I'd love to hear. I mean, I think the negative is almost more interesting than the positive. I like them both, but if there's only this positive stuff about being obsessed, to me that just doesn't do it for me. But I will, someone was saying, who do you watch? I'll let you know. Maybe I'll make a list of my favorite ones, but just off the top of my head, Ramsey is my number one at the moment. My World of Fragrance, Sam, I really like her. And those are the two that I can think of. I used to watch Olfactophiles, but I saw that she hasn't put anything out for 7 months. I don't know what's up with her. Our taste is a little bit different. But she often mentions the perfumer. I like that she pays attention and to who's created something, and will comment like if there's any similarities in style, things like that. I really appreciate that little effort, that little extra effort. I hope she's doing okay. I did find it interesting, like just in the last 2 weeks or 3 weeks maybe, I've heard like 3 major reviewers talk about like addiction. Like I think Demi Rawling talked about drinking too much, and Maria Colette talked about eating too much, and also Jus de Rose, I don't know how to pronounce her name quite, or the name of her channel, but she also talked about eating addiction. I find it interesting, like I think a lot of us in the perfume community have, had things and issues, and I'm no exception. I'm not that personal yet in this channel, but it's not eating and drinking. I tend to be really moderate with that. And I think that I'm not that carried away when it comes to like buying perfume. But if you think about how much I think about perfume, now then I'm definitely obsessive. But I just found that kind of interesting also that, there's something in this that also, I don't know, maybe there is such thing as an addictive personality. I don't know. It would be nice with some comments about this if you have noticed this too, and if you think it has some kind of, if there's something that has to do with the perfume collecting, that has to do with the addiction, like that's part of our, I don't know. I can't find the words about this, but little interesting observations anyway. That's all for today, guys. I'm going to round it off here.